Hi, Scary Recaps here. Today, I'm going to explain the movie Speak No Evil from 2022. Beware of spoilers. Bjorn and Louise, together with their daughter Agnes, are enjoying their vacation in Tuscany, Italy. They are soon acquainted with a man named Patrick, who seems to stalk them around the hotel. During a walk in the city, Agnes loses her favourite teddy bear, Ninus. Bjorn searches for it and manages to retrieve it. But when he returns to his family, he sees Patrick and his wife Karen talking to Louise. The two families get to know each other better, having lunch together and discovering that they share many similarities based on their ethnicities. When Bjorn and his family return home, they find a letter from Patrick inviting them to their house in Holland. Bjorn and Louise quickly decide to visit Patrick and his family, and so they depart for Holland. Upon their arrival, Patrick and Karen warmly greet Bjorn and his family. Patrick takes Bjorn to the pool, while Louise and Karen take their children to meet one another. Abel is shy, and Karen shows Agnes the weird bed that they have made for her, which is nothing but a simple mattress on the floor. That night, Patrick persistently offers a piece of meat to Louise, even though she has told him that she is vegetarian. Bjorn takes a walk in the garden and sees Abel in front of him, opening his mouth at him and revealing a severed tongue. The Danish family learns that Abel suffers from congenital aglossia, a condition where there is a partial development or complete absence of the tongue. Since he can't talk, Agnes doesn't feel comfortable to sleep near Abel and lies down with her parents instead. The next day, the two families go for a stroll in a field. Agnes wants to use the slide, but Abel is obstructing her path. Louise kindly asks Abel to move, but the boy looks at her apathetically. Louise then asks Abel's family to do something, whereas Patrick rebukes Abel and forces him to apologize to Agnes. Afterwards, Louise expresses her concern about the strange behavior of Patrick and Karen and says that she wants to leave. Later that night, the two couples go out without their children. Louise is unaware of this and finds it a bit puzzling that a male babysitter called Muhajid is watching over Agnes and Abel. At the bar, the couples eat, and Louise mentions again that she is a vegetarian, but Patrick tells her that since she can eat fish, that makes her a pescatarian. Patrick and Karen dance in a very intimate manner, kissing each other, while Bjorn and Louise attempt to imitate them, but fail as they've become rather distant over the years. When it's time to leave, Bjorn is reluctantly forced to pay for the entire dinner. On the drive back home, Patrick is clearly drunk. He turns on music, much to an annoyed Louise's dismay, who shouts at him to turn it off. Back at the house, Louise decides to take a shower, but she hears someone enter the bathroom and brush their teeth. She can't help but feel worried. Scared by this, she lies down with Bjorn, and the two of them make love, despite the cries from Agnes, who wants to sleep with them, and the ogling from Patrick outside their room. Later, Louise searches for Agnes, and finds her in bed with Patrick naked next to her. Disgusted by this sight, Louise takes Agnes and wakes up Bjorn, telling him that they should leave. The Danish family packs up and leaves without a word to their hosts just after sunrise. While Bjorn drives away, Agnes complains that she doesn't have Ninus, her teddy bear, with her. Bjorn stops the car and searches the suitcase, but he is unable to find it. Agnes wants Ninus desperately, and Louise tells her that the teddy is gone. Agnes starts to cry, and Bjorn decides to turn back and get his daughter's toy. Arriving at the Dutch family's house, Bjorn walks in alone, just right after Agnes finds Ninus under her car seat. Louise goes after Bjorn and finds him trying to explain to Patrick the reason they have left in such a rush. Bjorn and Louise mention that quite a few things have made their stay there frustrating. Patrick says that he is shocked. Karen apologizes to them for the bad experience they have had. Louise also says that it was unexpected and unacceptable for Patrick to take Agnes and sleep in his bed with him naked. Karen contradicts this by saying that it was actually Louise's fault because Agnes kept calling out for her in the middle of the night and she didn't do anything. Patrick then says he's going to make up for this and promises that the next few days are going to be great. Bjorn and Louise then agree to give Patrick and his wife a second chance and stay. Soon, Louise and Bjorn do some gardening together while the children are playing. Patrick and Bjorn go out for a drive. Patrick asks to turn on the radio and sings to Bjorn. Later, Bjorn says that he feels trapped in his everyday life, and Patrick takes him to a spot where he lets out a scream. Bjorn does the same thing and feels relieved. The two men hang out together, and everything seems to be getting along fine, until Louise cuts herself during the lunch preparation. Bjorn asks Patrick to take a look at it since he has told them that he is a doctor, but the Danish family learns that Patrick has lied to them and that he is unemployed. At the table, Karen keeps telling Agnes what to do and Louise is upset, telling her to stop. Karen says that she is sorry and the matter ends there. In the afternoon, Agnes and Abel dance together in front of their parents, but Patrick is angry at Abel for failing to cope with the rhythm. Patrick throws a cup at the wall and orders Abel to dance accordingly. Bjorn interferes and a tension starts to build. Karen says that they are doing things differently from them, and as the voices rise, Louise panics and exits the house. Agnes and Bjorn follow her out, but Louise wants a moment alone and shouts at Agnes. Bjorn then takes his daughter and walks back inside. During the night, the tension hasn't seemed to lessen. Patrick enters the bathroom while Bjorn brushes his teeth without uttering a word. As Bjorn lies awake in bed, he hears Patrick scolding Abel. He leaves his room with Louise and Agnes sleeping inside and goes to the living room where a loud TV is playing. Bjorn turns the TV off and searches around the house until he discovers a room with plenty of photographs, with Patrick and Karen posing with other 3-member families, but each time with a different child as their own. Bjorn deducts that Patrick and Karen are murderers who kill other couples and steal their children. To strengthen his suspicion, Bjorn sees Abel's dead body floating in the pool and immediately goes to his room. He wakes up Louise and Agnes and takes them to the car to leave. They're almost out of gas, but nonetheless, they flee. Bjorn drives away, but someone in the house wakes up as the lights are turned on. Horror strikes Bjorn, who, not sure where he's going, feels that he is being followed by Patrick. Driving off the road, Bjorn tells Louise that he is going to a nearby farmhouse to ask for help. He doesn't know, however, that Patrick is nearby and that he is watching them like a wolf on the prowl. Bjorn goes to the house, but finds no one there. In the meantime, Patrick walks to the car. As Bjorn returns to his car, he sees that his wife and daughter have gone missing. He calls for them, but he gets no reply. Grabbing his daughter's teddy, Bjorn wanders off, fearing for their lives. Suddenly, a light shines on him. It's Patrick's car. Patrick tells Bjorn to come with him. Louise and Agnes are in his car. Bjorn pleads with Patrick not to harm them, to which he gets the reply that everything is going to be alright as long as he does what he's told. With no other option, Bjorn gets in Patrick's car and both he and his family are taken away. Agnes asks about Abel and Karen replies that Muhajid is watching over him. Patrick makes a quick stop and Bjorn seriously considers taking the car and leaving. But Bjorn does absolutely nothing and the opportunity for salvation now seems lost forever. After a while, Agnes says that she is scared and Bjorn tells Louise and Agnes that they are to do as they are told. Patrick takes the family to an unknown location where Muhajid, the supposed male babysitter, is waiting. Louise hugs Agnes and doesn't let her go. Bjorn tries to fight back, but Patrick punches him and keeps him in check. Muhajid opens the door and grabs Louise by the throat, allowing Karen and Patrick to hold Agnes. While Patrick opens Agnes's mouth, Karen takes a pair of scissors and cuts off the child's tongue. Muhajid then takes Agnes and Patrick drives away. Louise goes hysterical and breaks down in tears while Bjorn is in shock. After a short drive, Patrick stops the car at a secluded area. They all exit the car. Bjorn asks Patrick why he is doing this, and Patrick says, because they let him. Patrick then tells them to take off their clothes, and the couple complies. Naked, Bjorn and Louise are led to the base of a hill, where they are stoned to death by Patrick and Karen. As the morning comes, Bjorn and Louise lie dead on the cold earth. The last sequences show happy families on their vacations, innocent and totally unsuspicious of the evil that comes for them. Patrick and Karen drive, seeking potential victims, with Agnes as their new daughter.